We're here to build relationships. We're here to build relationships between organized people and organized labor. For years, our government has been trying, and the wealthiest have been trying to separate us. They've used the conquer and divide method. No longer will we allow that. That's what we're here today to celebrate and to improve and to build upon. We're going to have a speaker or two, and then we'll open up the mic for anyone that wants to share their thoughts on what's happening in today's world. Paul? Paul Nipper from Occupy Longview.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Occupy Portland, all Occupy family, all the Occupy families that's here, thank you for coming. All the members of the organized labor community, thank you for coming. That's what tonight is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about developing relationships, talking to each other, seeing how we can work together. There's several areas that we can all work together on. There's several areas we can all improve on. The main thing that I've learned working with Occupy and trying to lend our assistance in the local labor disputes that have gone on and other areas that of importance to working class people, the main thing I've learned is we're just absolutely unstoppable when we stand together. We are absolutely without going into major details, without a doubt, here a short time ago, just a few members of an organized community standing side by side with labor forced a company that made enough money to buy our government, buy our town, and buy every official and police officer in it. We made them blink. They sat down. They did what could not be done for 2 years because we stood up and we stood up together. I just want everyone to understand that we can do this in every city, any town, any time we choose to do it. All it takes is standing up, talking to each other, finding a way to approach the problem correctly and effectively. We can all do it. Everyone in this group that's standing here is here with a purpose, and every one of you has a talent that could be shared with another person that can help in this entire situation. We can all work together, we can all better our communities, we can all better our standard of living, and we can take back everything that has been stolen from us over the last 30 years of this country.
Yeah.
Thank you. One last thing I want to report. The bar does have beer and it's cold. So I confirm that.
Thank you, Paul. Any other members want to come up and talk from Occupy?
Yes, right here.
Don't be bashful.
Right here.
Yeah, Jordan.
This is Jordan from Occupy Labor Solidarity Committee. Welcome, Jordan.
Yeah, from Occupy Portland. Good to see everyone out here today. I'm also in the Painters Union in Portland, so yay, Painters. So I just wanted to let everyone know about this rally on May 24th to save the post office. There's going to be sweeping closures going on all over the country, closing mostly rural post offices, but where they're not rural, mostly in black and brown neighborhoods. So we're having a march and a rally 5 p.m. on May 24th in Portland at the Terry Trunk Plaza. Latea's passing out leaflets right now, so hopefully we'll see all you guys out there, and it's good to see you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. You know, one of the beautiful things about Occupy, when I first started seeing Occupy on the news, I thought, what the hell's going on? Is this what I've been waiting for? And it turned out that while I was waiting for someone to bring solutions to the table and get the attention of our government, I came to the realization that I was what I was waiting for. And, you know, it was kind of hard for me at times to sit down at a table in the Occupy General Assembly with people that might have a little different beliefs than me. And I've been able to overcome that because the reality is that we need to concentrate on what's similar with us, that we're all American citizens, we all have the same equal rights, and our voices are not being heard. It doesn't matter what subject you're talking about, or what your major concern is,
Oh, I actually ran out.
the bottom line is we're not being heard. This is the beginning of a new beginning, and our voices will be heard. Anybody else want to come up and speak today? Can we get some of our folks from the unions to come up and say a word or two? I knew they weren't bashful.
Very good.
Okay, I'm a retired union, and I was listening to Paul and what he said we need to do to make the change. But one of the biggest things we need, if we're going to make a change, is get out and vote. Every one of us. We all have to be prepared to do that. As you mentioned, we may not agree on everything, but the things we do agree on is that we want to get this country back to where it was. We want families to have family wage jobs. We want them to have benefits, and we want them to be able to retire in comfort. And if we don't make the change, because we're here, we can make a change, as it was mentioned, but the changes have to be at the polling booth. We've got to get candidates that will run to support our ideas, and then we have to support them. So I'm going to encourage everyone here. You may not be registered yet. You have to register. Get that done. Set the example for your families, your friends, your neighbors. And this is how we can make a difference. We can go around and talk. We can do a lot of that, and we do. But until we make the changes by giving out the people that are not representing every one of us here, then we're not going to accomplish what I think we really want to do. Thank you.
Very nice. Did I hear someone say Kyle wanted to say a couple words?
Oh, yeah. Get up there, Kyle. Kyle, get up there, Kyle.
Come on, Kyle. Don't be bashful.
Get up there.
The microphone's calling out your name, brother.
Still writing my speech. Mike, yeah, go ahead. Get Mike.
Here we go. I knew one of them wouldn't be bashful.
Hi, my name is Mike Keithley, and I part of the organization that was under attack here at level. And I went around speaking a few times in a few different places. I just got back from New York here about a month and a half ago. And what I see is a lot of different groups fighting different causes. And what we need to understand, and we need to come together, is that we're all fighting the same people. All these organizations and all these fights lead right back to the same spot. And so, the only thing I got to say about the local issue is that, we had corporate America come in here and tell us they were going to drop the standard of living in this town, and we weren't going to have it. And I appreciate the support we got from all organizations around the world that came to our defense. I think we're sometimes looked upon as a beacon of light of the leaders in fighting back. And so I think a lot of people thought that if we were defeated, that not many people had a chance to keep going on. So I have a feeling that when you get to large organizations, you end up having politics played at the top. It seems like no matter what. And when it comes to the labor movements and the unions, everyone's scared to get out there and take that lead. And I hope things don't have to get so bad that we come to where some of the other countries are right now and the things that they're going through. And we have to realize that we do have the power. Once we stand together, the corporate machine stops turning, and they'll come to the table. They can't afford to be down for very long. I see the government back, their agenda is being backed by the power of the government and the military. And we need to come together and take this fight on, because I don't want to put this off on my kids to fight down the road. They weren't old enough to be a part of what was going on today, to be left up to them to fight. I want to take this fight on myself, and I want to take it on now. That's what needs to be done. We need to turn the tide and get this thing going in the right direction. I think people will follow you if somebody will lead. Somebody needs to stand up and lead. I know when we were taking actions that most people probably would feel is a little radical, that got the attention of the working class. That got the attention of other unions and rank and file members, and they were inspired. That's why I think they came to our defense. So through these actions and the support of other groups and organizations, the agenda is this: we're fighting one small group of people. They have the money and they got the power, but that's on paper. Power lies within the people. So when we stand together, we can defeat them.
Thank you very much, Mike. Mike nailed it right there. Because the reality is the work that we put in together today, many of us won't reap the benefits of it. It's our children and our grandchildren that we do this for.
Hi, my name is Mike Hoyer. I'm president, or was the president of the Woodworkers IAM here in Longview. Instead, next to these guys, longshoremen have been our brothers forever and ever. Family, they're probably as much there as in my own union. What you don't know is this. For 43 years, I've been a union member. I went to work at Weyerhaeuser when I was 19 years old, and the union was there. It was given to me. Now, I get asked out here how many people are actually union members. Please raise your hand. A lot of you out there are. How many of those people that are union members started the union in the place they work? Thank God for you folks. Thank God for you folks. That's a lot of courage. You know, people died for the ILWU. We used to be the Wobblies before we became the Woodworkers. People died for those rights. So I'm the guy at the end of my career. I'm the guy that's encouraging the Kyles and the other folks to stand up and fight. I've always did it. I don't know why. I guess I was never shy of this mic. But you know, the people who stand up here in front of the room and make the speeches aren't, you know, I guess we lead from the front of the room, but we're not just those people. There's a lot of people who would be scared to death of this thing. But they do the work behind the scenes, they organize and make phone calls and so on. They're more important than the people that have the gift of gab and they stand up here and talk. They're the people that make the unions go. I could ask another question. How many of you that aren't union would like to be union? See, I almost hesitate to ask that question. Give them a big round of applause. I almost hesitate to ask that question because I'm afraid somebody's looking over their shoulder. I tell people to organize and call me on my private line. It's confidential. Because corporations in this country, Congress and so on, have so imbalanced that table that you have to be afraid to organize in the business. You need to be scared. And I tell you, when we come in to organize you, you be quiet, you keep it quiet, you make sure it's confidential, you can trust me with your life, and I will bring a wolf to their door when we're ready to go. I got 65% inside, we will come in and hammer them. That's what the machinists do, that's what the ILWU does. We will organize you, but you got to get that 65%. It's tough to get those people to stand up. Thank you for your courage. I mentioned the wolf. I want to talk about the wolf for a minute. ILWU, obviously there's a huge labor dispute. It's rumored I was out there stopping a train. There's no proof, Mike. No proof. There was a lot of actions going on, certainly pickets and everything else we could do. We did to support them. That's our membership, the IAM, Steve and other members are back here that were out there with us. But I talk about the wolf all the time. You guys are the wolf. Understand what happened here. Last year, my union, my local, bargained at least 4 contracts. We bargained one with the Frontier Nursing Home. We bargained one after Weyerhaeuser sold Northwest Hardwoods. We had to go in and bargain a contract with them. These were tough economic times, and these folks really wanted to kick our ass and get concessions back. We also bargained one, organized and bargained one with Simpson. We had an 85% yes vote at Simpson. Give those guys a hand. That's courage. They organized them, and then we came back and gave them a contract. We also have a tentative agreement with Weyerhaeuser, the big dog in town, right? They got one going now. They did not want to bargain. They wanted to get that contract. They were able to negate that because they were afraid of the wolf. I say this all the time to Colin guys. The wolf, they're afraid to have the wolf at their door. The wolf was organized labor. When we all rallied for the ILWU, and we went down there and demonstrated, whether it was stopping trains or picking up those members, taking them back to their cars and bringing them back to the site, whatever it was, we all contributed. UFCW was big in that. Everybody was, I think. They were afraid when we were bargaining these contracts. They did not want a wolf to come. Because what happened was, labor united with Occupy. They were afraid of Occupy. They were, looking into that. Suddenly these corporations are looking out there and they're saying, you know, we can't take these unions and pick them one at a time, pick them on. They're all rallying together and they're bringing in the community with us. We're labor, Occupy is community. If you put community and labor together, workers together, union and non-union, it's a world. None of these employers want the roof at the door. So thank you for your efforts. Thank you for coming tonight. They have a nice event over here tonight. There'll be some great music by some union members. And remember, tip your bartenders. It's a union bar, but they still make a living with their tips. So thank you guys for coming tonight. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. You got that right. For two badass wolves. Occupy Longview has about 20 members in it. We meet every Saturday down at the lake, with Dia. I just learned how to say that. At 16th and Nichols under the canopy field. So please come join us. We've actually accomplished a lot in this little town in our short time, being so small, and I'd like to take a minute to thank those that gave us support. That would be Occupy Portland.
Yeah.
Those in Occupy Portland that are here, raise your hand, please. Give them some love. Occupy Seattle. Anyone from Seattle here today? There we go. And of course, Occupy Oakland. And that brings me to our next speaker. Baruka is from Occupy Oakland, and she's rather outspoken, and she's never at a loss for words. So Baruka, come on up and take a second, will you?
Yeah.
Hey, so I've been losing my voice and I'm a little bit unprepared. And we just got here, so I don't know what else has been said. I'm from Occupy Oakland. Things are pretty rough for us right now. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people detained since January on. We have people who are detained off the street just for walking down the street in downtown Oakland. We have dozens of people with stay-away orders from the plaza that we occupied. We have illegal interrogations in the jails. We have people beaten extremely badly, a lot of head injuries. And that's pretty much what we're dealing with given the months and months of social rebellion that happened in Oakland as a result of Occupy Oakland, when we were able to bring tens of thousands of people to the port to shut down the port again and again to show our solidarity with Local 21. And pretty much to prove to the EGT and DHS that if the EGT ship came into Longview, that we could take that port as well. We've also staffed hard picket lines. We've organized with undocumented workers who were unfairly fired from their workplace and got them at least the ability to be rehired. So we've also done anti-racist kind of organizing within that framework. But I think the most exciting recent project, despite the repression that Occupy Oakland has going on, is we're organizing on the public bus system, which is called AC Transit in Oakland. Oakland is a very under-resourced city. The schools are closing, the libraries, the parks are closing. It's pretty much social desperation. And the fare is $2.10 for a ride. And some people have to pay the fare twice just to get to work, especially a lot of immigrants who are coming from farther away and going up to the hills to work in the houses of rich white folks. And so what we've done is we did a huge campaign for the past month going directly to the drivers who are unionized. We didn't go to their union officials, we didn't go to their union leadership, we went directly to the rank and file, would ask them, and they have a horrible contract coming up, split shift pay, a lot of concessions. We went directly to the rank and file and said, like, look, your issues are the same issues as those of the passengers who can't pay the fare. The AC transit system is taking more and more from both the drivers and the passengers and giving us less. And what we want you to do is start honoring transfers for multiple use and then eventually move into free fares in certain parts of Oakland and free fares for young people and different people who are economically marginalized. And the response, I mean, firing on work sites, right? The response from these workers was overwhelmingly positive. About 85 to 90% of the bus drivers that we went through asking them to do something that could get them fired, that it's pretty radical. And they got it, right? We went as Occupy Oakland directly to the rank and file, fired, I don't know, about 75% of them, and they were totally willing to show solidarity with the passengers and the rest of the communities where people pay. And so now we have a large campaign on the buses, and we're flying the passengers and letting the passengers know that the tension over the fare is not the result of the driver's behavior. It's not the driver's fault, but it's the AC transit system and the defunding of public services in Oakland. And so, yeah, right now, essentially, we're occupying the fare. And we're beginning to occupy where people pay, where they can't pay, and coming to a movement of auto-reduction and self-organization between workers and customers. And it's going quite well. And I think it's a model that can be used in other places. So in terms of labor, that's largely what we're doing. And it proves that, right, what we've heard from the drivers is, you know, nobody's come to us and asked us about our issues. In fact, the union hasn't come to us either. And so we've come out ahead of the union because the drivers actually really do appreciate that we're going to the passengers and letting the passengers know what their issues are and how that connects to the passengers' issues with the fare. And it's been widely successful, and I think it proves that, you know, small groups of people can go to work sites and can talk to rank and file and can talk to workers. And we can self-organize on our own, and that we don't need bureaucratic structures or structures that otherwise accommodate to the system, and that we need to recognize what those structures are and go around them, above them, below them, or through them to get our material needs met. So that's largely what the conversation is in Oakland. And you know, any kind of support, we have an ongoing bail fund that you can find online. Any other way you can spread the word about just the really serious level of state repression that's happening in Oakland is really good for us, and to never leave us isolated and alone, because they've come down extremely hard on us and our comrades. So I didn't really have anything prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Veruca. So some interesting news this last week or so is that, you know, one of the reasons why you notice you keep hearing on the news, no matter what channel it is, you get stuck watching, that one of the biggest things you'll hear lately is Citizens United, Citizens United. And a lot of people don't understand what that is. And that's basically what is allowing these corporations that are being considered as people to put money into these campaigns without any trace. And these are big corporations, and effectively what this is doing is it's actually allowing people from other nations who sit on the boards of these corporations to make our laws, to elect who's going to be in charge of our nation. We've lost our voice. So this last week, the governor and lieutenant governor of Montana both came out against Citizens United. That's a great thing, it really is. Our president on Sunday pretty much had no choice to come out and say something about it, and where he commented that corporations are not people, that people are people. So as soon as I heard that, I of course shot him an email, because that's just not enough. Just to say something like that is not enough. He needs to do something about it. It's up to us to hold our representatives accountable. It's up to every single one of us to take the time out of our busy schedules to drop an email, drop a letter. Don't do letters too much anymore, or cards, unless you do a postcard, because of the whole anthrax thing. They won't open it. And I can't believe I blame them. So, you know, all these things are going on, and Occupy Longview, we've been working on a resolution for the city of Longview, which we hope to get before the council very soon, so that they stand with us against Citizens United. And what I'm hoping for is that when we actually do go before the city to do this, that I can see some of you people out there to support this, because this is very important to all of us. And by the way, did I mention that our General Assemblies are on Saturdays at the lake? We'd like to see you all there. Come on out and join us. Thank you very much for coming. Let's all go in and have a good time. Oh, we got one more speaker.
I just wanted to say a shout out from Seattle Occupy and really a big thank you to ILWU21 that really instigated this whole fight. I mean, this was before Occupy, this was pre-Occupy in August when they actually just said, we're going to fucking shut this down. You know, and I think that really inspired, Occupy movement inspired a lot of people that hadn't been working together to start working together. In Seattle it did. And I think we got kind of a bad rap after the port shutdown. Some of the labor leaders were saying, oh, you didn't work with the union leadership, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not true. In Seattle, we met with rank and file. We met with the executive board of the Longshore Union. And we met and went out flyering and leafleting. We had retirees and active members organizing the shutdown. We couldn't have done it without them. You know, so I think there's sort of a divide that some are trying to create between Occupy and the labor movement. Some people are uneasy because it means getting out there and actually fighting with the bosses instead of just taking our dues and giving them to the Democrats. Yeah. You know, the same governor that had guns pointed at the longshore workers here from the Coast Guard when this you know push came to shove. The same governor and president, for that matter, the administration that has actually supported putting guns on working people for standing up for their rights. You know, so I think that really, the lesson I draw from this is that we need a different kind of political organization. In labor, we need our unions, but we need a political party that represents us instead of representing the bosses and representing the Democrats. And I think that's what I learned. The other thing I learned from this fight was the importance of working with the port drivers, an unorganized group of the short haulers that bring the stuff from the ports in Seattle. And after the shutdown, they were inspired and organized their own strike, a wildcat strike, shut down the port again in Seattle, went down to Olympia en masse and demanded legislation, which they didn't get. But the point is they're organizing. They're demanding equal rights instead of being treated like second-class citizens and being in bottles instead of having a restroom in the port. So I brought this sign sort of as a memento of that struggle because the port workers were honking their horns loudly during the whole port shutdown and were part of it and came to our meetings and talked to us about the importance of supporting the truck drivers as well as the longshore workers. So it was a fight for the unorganized and the organized workers in Seattle, and I think that's what we have to do if we're going to change the system, given the lowering numbers of people that are organized in this country. So I also came down and did an interview with Longshore in August when this first happened for the Freedom Socialist newspaper and heard from the women in the auxiliary, and I think we should give a shout out to the auxiliary of Local 21 as well. The pictures of the women who were being attacked and then maced, just like Occupy folks, you know, in terms of standing up for their rights, sitting down on a train track. That's a big threat, I guess. It really is, because you're shutting down production. But I think that those women were really, really big heroes in my book and still are. And we need to mount a campaign to fight for everybody to have the charges dropped, because they're leveling that over the heads of these longshore workers. They're going to keep fining them and trying to throw them in jail and make them a lesson for the rest of labor that stands up. So we should really be organizing in support of them now and putting pressure on them politically here to stop that. And the last thing I want to say is the other thing that until we have a Labor Party, I'm helping organize for a socialist candidate running for president and vice president. They're out on the picket lines. I think they're the only candidates for president of the United States that have been on the picket lines in Longview, Freedom Socialist candidates. So I'd urge you to vote for Durham Lopez as a write-in vote against this whole system. Thanks a lot.
So, we didn't pull a permit for this rally. Dave, do you want to share something? We didn't pull a permit for this because we just didn't feel we really needed to. It's our park.
Our park.
And this is America. And we have a thing
Our
called the
park.
Constitution.
Our
Whose
park.
park is it?
Our park. Our park.
Whose park?
Our park.
I can't hear you.
Our park.
That's better. By the way, did I mention when our meetings are? Dave, come on up.
Our late.
Dave Grombach. Did I say that right? Do you even need the microphone?
That's a fair question. Where are those meetings again? Saturday at the lake? 10 a.m.?
Go for Dave.
Hey folks, it's really good to see you all tonight. A lot of friends that I haven't seen a whole lot of since November when we were fighting some battles and getting ILWU taken care of. And thank God that you folks are working, and thank God that you guys are still here supporting Longview, Cowlitz County, and the whole frickin' West Coast. But I want to come before you tonight just also to remind about another union, because I learned a lot about unions this last fall, the last 2 years really, as I joined with, I'm a small business owner. I think most of you know that. I own a building at 32nd Avenue that houses one of the Washington State liquor stores. And yeah, here's for alcohol. You know? Here's to getting some in a couple minutes. But one of the things I want to talk about is a group of people, because I've learned a lot about unions and how strong the ILWU was in organizing and solidarity, and the numbers of people they brought together to rally and support themselves against EGT. And I also think about those folks from UFCW, Food and Commercial Workers. For those of the people, are there any UFCW people here tonight? Amen, brothers. Down there. Hey. Because the UFCW people this last November really got the shaft from a group called Costco. And you know, you're talking about people, you know, working families who have one of the highest success rates in terms of public safety and preventing sales to minors and delivering a valuable asset to the state, you know, valuable resources that go into putting things for whose park? Our park?
Our park.
You know, supporting those kinds of things, and now that's going to go away. I stand before you here today to let you know that the Supreme Court on May 17th, that's this Thursday, is going to be hearing the final chapter in the battle for alcohol. And if some of you Occupy folks would like to be in Olympia before the Supreme Court this Thursday, man, we'd love to see you. All, you know, anybody who wanted to support that cause one last time, because this is it. This is it. If you know, one last challenge to ballot measure 1183, because this is Union Solidarity Night. And it's good to see you folks from UFCW here tonight. But some of our friends from UFCW have taken such a beating over the last couple of years that they're tired. They're hurting, and I think we all know what low morale feels like. We've all experienced that. It's groups like this tonight that help improve morale. And thank you all for doing what you do. God bless you all. And keep up the battle. Fight for what's right. And keep up the good work. Thank you all.
I forgot a couple things earlier. When I was talking about Citizens United, I wanted to tell you all also that I heard on the radio today, next week they're having judicial hearings regarding Citizens United. The other thing was, so we didn't pull a permit. But yesterday I did go to City Council meeting and let them know that we were having the event in the Monticello, and that Occupy was planning on having a rally in the park, because you know us occupiers love our parks. And they seem to be okay with it, all as well. So what I'd ask you all to do is, as we leave, let's make sure we don't leave any trash please pick up behind you, because if not, that means my disabled ass has to go over to the truck, grab a trash bag, and pick up after you. Thank you. Let's go have a good time. Yes, and thank you all for coming.